What if I told you that your artistic success had little to do with luck, your upbringing, your education, or even the level of your talent? Finding artistic success is not passive. It's not something left to chance. You no longer have to sit around and wait for the phone to ring or your notification to ping, wondering when your next sale will be. You can take steps. This is good news. There's actually something that you can do about it, and I'd love to show you how. I've prepared a special guide for you to download. The 5 Things Success Artists Get Right is an insightful resource that will help you discover what those successful, smart artists are doing and how you can apply these principles to your art and your art business. The guide comes with a practical worksheet. The questions and the tasks are there to help you get a better idea of where you are in your art journey and show you your next steps. You can download this free guide at www.soniasmallhere.com/free resource. This one word can make all the difference. If you can find the courage to say it out loud and learn to use it more often, it will make a huge difference in your life, in your work, and the quality of your art. This short word is powerful and will help you take your next steps. My name is Sonia Small here. I'm an artist, an art coach, and a course creator. When I graduated from the Art Academy, I had learned how to paint and how to draw, but I had no idea how to earn a living with my creativity. I was not prepared for the life as a working artist. This often left me quite frustrated, sometimes on the verge of calling it quits, throwing away my brushes and giving it all up. But I'm so glad I didn't. After many failed attempts and valuable lessons learned, I've discovered ways to turn my creative dream of being a working artist into a reality, now giving me the freedom to live the life I love. I created the Help I'm Artist podcast because no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're just starting out or maybe you've been a working artist for a while, you too can take steps to turn your creative passions into a meaningful, sustainable profession. The Help I'm Artist podcast is filled with fresh inspiration, step-by-step practical insights, and interviews with artists who are experts in their field. If you're a smart artist or one in the making who is looking for new and exciting ways to get your art out of your studio and into the hands and hearts of an audience that's appreciative and willing to pay its worth, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. If there's one word that artists, creators, and makers find hard to get out of their mouths, it must be this one. Your art business, your art career will only be as strong as your connection with others. Finding the courage to use the word help. As artists, we spend so much time in our studios, in our workplaces, working alone, that it's sometimes difficult for us to reach out and ask for help, especially visual artists. Spending so much time alone in the studio, very solistic, that it's often time we just simply forget that we need to reach out and that we can't do everything all by ourselves, that we need the help of others, and that our artistic success is directly linked to our support base. We are not alone, and we should find that support base to help us to be our cheerleaders, which is so crucial if you're wanting to grow our art, wanting to grow our art business, wanting to develop a body of work, build a solid, sustainable, meaningful art career. That word help. And it's one thing this pandemic has taught us is our deep need for human connection. This 150 centimeters or 49 inches, depending where you are in the world, called social distancing is totally unnatural. We are made for human connection. We are made to connect, to work, to collaborate, to find points of connection. And this is something that just kept coming up these last few months, is our need and our desire for this human connection. And now we have to be creative how we can solve that problem in this phase of the pandemic. It just brought home how that it's meaningful and very valuable for us personally, but also in our professions as artists. And that's something we're going to be looking at in this podcast, is those different levels of connection. And I've, for the simplicity's sake, divided them to 3 levels that are crucial for your artistic success. And success means different things to all of us. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to hit the jackpot, or success is when I'm selling my paintings or my art. Success could also just be finding the energy, finding the time to actually make your art, or being successful in the fact that you've decided that you are an artist and you allow yourself a creative process, or the joy of finishing a work, or the joy of sharing your art with others. So whatever that success looks like for you, there's always other people in that equation. But it starts with you as a person, and that's the first step in our connection. You need to be connected with yourself, giving yourself that permission to be just that, yourself, and to learn to create from that place of authenticity. Second, having that connection with a support base. Who are your cheerleaders? Who are those people around you that encourage you, that inspire you, that you relate to, maybe friends, family, or a group that you're connected with. And then the third level is your audience. These are people. You make art for human beings, other human beings that feel and live and love just like you do, and that you keep this also in the equation, that it's there to find connection, connecting your art with an art audience. So let's break that down a little bit. What does it mean to be connected with yourself? As an artist, everything starts and ends with you, the artist. The clearer you are about who you are as a person and why you make your art, what drives you, what you're passionate about, and the clearer you are about your art goals, what you're working towards, what makes you excited, what you want to see also in your planner, what you have on your schedule, what your art routine looks like, the time that you've dedicated for your creativity, the clearer you can lay out steps, a path towards these goals. And that's going to make you work far more intentionally and with more focus, and you're going to see that it's going to be far more effective, and you're going to see results. And this doesn't mean that you need to have it all figured out or that you need to be perfect, but really getting a better understanding of who you are as an artist, as a person. What makes you, what are your inner needs? And how can you connect your inner needs with your outer goals? And this is only possible when you have a better understanding of who you are and not trying to be a clone of someone else. Take a listen to a short snippet of South African award-winning fine artist Leonie E Brown as she shares about her struggles as a working artist and creating from that place of authenticity.
I often used to doubt myself. I still do sometimes. I think we all go through that. I think the big thing about doubting is if my identity is in my art. So I get my identity from whether I sell or not sell, whether I exhibit or not exhibit. That means that if I don't sell, I'm going to feel worthless. If I do sell, I'm going to have a high for a short while until the doubt creeps in again, and then I'm going to feel worthless again. So I went through a long time in my life where probably 3 years, which I didn't sell anything. And it wasn't a pleasant time, it wasn't a nice time, but I think the bottom line that I learned out of that is I am me, I am myself, I'm a person, I believe in a creator, and I am not the gift. So our gifts, our ability to paint is not our personality. It's a gift that's external to ourselves. Whether I use it or not use it, it's not going to change who I am. It can teach me things. I can learn many lessons through art, but the art itself doesn't essentially teach me or change me, the person. So I think when doubts come, it's actually a wonderful opportunity to look at yourself and say, will I continue to paint even if I sell nothing? Will I continue to enjoy what I do? Because it's something that gives me pleasure and something that gives me a reason to go on. One of the most important things, don't paint what you think will sell, because then you're not true to yourself. Paint what's in your heart. Paint what comes to your fingers. I mean, I've seen that when I've done that, I've done, oh wow, now little landscapes are selling. Then I produce little landscapes, and it doesn't work. You have to make what you love, because when you love it, somebody else will love it.
Let's look at that second aspect of finding a connection in your art. And your art business will only grow to the extent that you are connected with others. Being an artist is very holistic. Spending all those times, hours alone in your studio making your art can feel very isolating. And let's face it, you won't always live at the pinnacle of your success. As artists, we know many seasons, many ups and downs. We'll know seasons of abundance and we'll know seasons of lack. That's just reality. And it's wisdom to find a support base around us that when doubts or when fears or when dry spells hit us, that we feel supported, that we feel understood, and that people can cheer us on. As we don't have the luxury to dwell on these feelings long. We need to move past them, and this is very difficult by ourselves. So in order to grow as an artist, as an art entrepreneur, you need to have that support base. And in my course, The Working Artist, I teach students the importance of connection, that it's one of the essential pillars to artistic success. So do you have cheerleaders? What does your support base look like? In the worksheet that comes with this episode, there are questions and tasks that will help you to start to build a meaningful support base. And then the third point of connection for artists is that realizing that your art is not just for yourself. It's not there to sit in your studio and gather dust. That your art is made to be shared, to be appreciated, to be valued and treasured by others. And success artists realize that art is greater than just making it, just far greater than just having it sit around in your studio, but that it's there to be enjoyed by others. Have you found ways to connect your art with people that appreciate and understand what you do and get excited enough to pay for it? Connecting your art with an art audience requires action. It's not a passive thing. Building up your art and your art business is dynamic. It asks steps, strategic action. It asks careful thought. Do you know what your dream art buyer looks like? Where do they hang out? And have you found ways to connect with them? Because really it's a myth that people are just going to find you, just by chance. Running a sustainable art business, building a meaningful art career is not built by chance. Success artists have found ways to use the online and offline spaces to show the best their art has to offer. Your art website, your social media channels, the words that you use, the images that you choose all add or distract from your art and how effective you can connect your art with your art audience. In the worksheet, you will find ways in which you can start to connect your art with your art audience. I really want to challenge you as a working artist to reach out, ask for help if you need help with your website, help with your social channels, help if you don't understand certain techniques. That we don't come out of the womb as working artists. We're all in the process. We're not going for perfection, which can overwhelm us or limit us. We're going for progress. We're going for development. And don't be fearful to ask for feedback about your art. Don't be fearful to ask for tips, to reach out for help. And so that you can grow as a working artist, grow in your business, grow as an art entrepreneur, so that you can start working in your strengths, out of that place of authenticity, having that support base around you, developing healthy collaborations also with other artists. There's some great examples out of art history where artists got together and used each other's networks. Art colonies were formed around common thoughts in different geographical areas. I mean, just think of the Barbizon School outside of Paris in the 1890s, that when tube paint was introduced and railway networks were being laid out in those times, development of photography, all attributed to the fact that now artists could get out of their studios. They could go and work in nature. They could go and work in the forest. They could go and work in rural pastoral settings. And this became a magnet for artists like Rousseau and Millet. They all went to this area outside of Paris that was wooded and beautiful in nature, and they shared meals together, they shared common thoughts together, and they shared each other's knowledge. They inspired each other really to develop and to make them maximize their creativity. And these art colonies formed. So there's so much to be said of working in collaboration with other people. Are there artists in your area that you can collaborate with? Someone that has similar school of thought that you can connect with and be inspired, because if you are inspired, you're going to be inspiring other people, and that really there is a strength of connecting and working with other people. I just think of the example of the 1980s of artists, designers living in Belgium, in Antwerp, decided they were going to collaborate. Very different to the school of thought in the Netherlands in that time, when everyone thought they had to work individual, that their artistic expression was something that was really only as an individual, but not in a collaboration. But the designers like Ander Meulemeester and Dries van Noten and Dirk Bickenberg decided they're going to create a collaboration. They were called the Antwerp Six, and they became an international fashion concept. And most of them are still producing relevant fashion today, showing up on international catwalks. And when you go and visit Antwerp nowadays, you can go to the fashion district and still see where the Antwerp Six got together and worked on their art, and still see their studios and still see their relevant fashion on the high streets. And this all came out because they decided to pull their talents together, not be in competition, but to support each other, cheer each other on, and use the strengths of each other. And that this is such a key to artistic success, that you don't need to do it yourself, that there is help out there, and that you can reach out, use each other's strengths and each other's networks. And how fun is it just to be able to work together, or set up an exhibition, or set up a project together, and grow to be that successful working artist. I think one of the biggest reasons artists don't work together is fear. We fear competition, the fear of being found out. We fear that we are an imposter, that we're not good enough, or we fear criticism. Wouldn't it be great if we were applauded for who we are, celebrating each other's uniqueness? There's so much to be gained in collaboration and working together, and so little to lose. Are you working together with other artists? What's holding you back? Is there an art collective that you can join? Or maybe start a meetup on a Facebook group? In the worksheet that comes with this episode, you will find tasks, exercises, and questions that will help you. You can head over to www.sonjasmalheer.com/free resource. Well, that's all for this week. Don't forget to share this podcast and leave a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this episode. This makes the podcast more visible and helps other artists find it. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.